Happy November 6th. When we squint. Why do I immediately think of Squints Palladorus from The Sandlot? Okay, and when we squint, we think we see like a tiger, while the truth, like the sun, spills everywhere but through our slits. We have all heard the gritty advice that when things get tough, we need to dig in. This often translates to an aggressive, alert stance. We hone our focus and thinking, readying ourselves for anything. Unfortunately, when we steel ourselves for battle, our focus narrows and we can cut out as much of what we need as what we fear. I am not suggesting that we stumble through life without thought or focus. Rather, I'm offering a deeper sense of what it means to be alert. There is a telling difference between the sharp line of a laser ray and the wash of sunlight over a field, between the sharpness of a mind in crisis and the wash and warmth of an open heart. When we need it most, it is nearly impossible to see ourselves with compassion from the slit of a narrowed mind, all tensed for battle. A few months after the tumor vanished from my head, I bumped into a very bright friend in a restaurant who was tenacious in pursuing what I had done to defeat the tumor. I kept telling her of the enormous surrender that had overcome my life and that I didn't really know how to account for the miracle. She squinted terribly, as if blocking out the glare of the mystery, and insisted that I was evidence of what mind could do over matter. As she squinted, I could feel her heart close. It was very sad. We've had little to say to each other since. I have also found myself from time to time unable to stay in the feeling of a moment because my alertness in crisis, like a periscope shooting up, pulls me out of my heart, and the next thing I know, I am lost in the analysis of problem solving, of calibrating advantages and liabilities. Like my friend, when I squint, insisting solely on my own will to power me in the world, I close myself to the mystery, and I notice I become sad, having little to say to myself. This has taught me that attention to detail can be mistaken for the act of caring. The truth is that being alert often requires us to widen our focus and to see with what the Sufis call the heart's eye. For though surprise and crisis can make us squint like a tiger and show our claws, it is the effort to enlarge and stay open that helps us the most. Ew. That's a lot. So in my podcast last week, I was reading a bit about how shamanism views something like ADHD. What is considered attention deficit in Western society would be very important skills in the jungle. And so instead of using medication to focus that child's attention on one task, he would be allowed to have his full range of attention, and it would actually be quite necessary. My dog is super excited right now. And also the ability to talk to that person, listen to the birds, and perhaps have that listening skill searching the close jungle for sounds of a jaguar, either leaves breaking under the jaguar's feet or that particular little like throat purr growl thing they do. I can see what he's talking about. Like instead of squinting and focusing your gaze or focusing your attention on one thing and digging in, that ability to open your gaze or your attention and really take in more information is useful and keeps your heart open to so many other possibilities. So, who's ready for mindful moment? Me! Mindful moment. Put my glasses back on. Before a mirror, with your eyes closed, meditate on a confusion or problem that is troubling you. Allow yourself to think about its circumstances and possible solutions. Now look at yourself in the mirror and note the tension in your face and how it affects your eyes. Staying before the mirror, again, meditate with your eyes closed and try to relax your analysis. Try to look at the confusion or problem with your heart's eye without trying to solve it. Now, look at yourself in the mirror and note if and how your face and eyes have changed. Discuss the difference with a trusted loved one. I'm telling you, this watching yourself is something. I didn't realize he was going to recommend that. But there's something to it. And I don't know if in a mirror, I think when you're doing it in a mirror, you start to notice your flaws or this or that or whatever, and you get distracted. But if you record yourself talking and doing all the things that he's asking you to do in the mirror, and then watch it later, and just focus on your facial expression, I think that is really something. It's very interesting to watch everything about yourself, and not in a narcissistic way. That's not what I'm saying. What I am realizing by watching myself through this editing process is how my mood translates into facial expressions and things that, like, I guess my nose really wrinkles up when I laugh and I'm excited, which is hilarious. I didn't know that I did that before. There's a certain way I move my head or I move my lips when I'm feeling unsure or self-conscious or vulnerable. And I'm 49 years old and I never knew any of those things about myself. So it's definitely been a discovery process for me. And it's also allowed me to kind of watch myself and be kind of amazed that so much shows, even when I think it's not. So anyway, it's kind of cool. It's an interesting little lesson. Don't get carried away. Don't start focusing on your nose and how weird looking it is, or I don't know. I notice I move my lips weird. So I try not to focus on that, because you can really end up hating yourself or getting depressed by staring at yourself too much, or totally fall in love. Who knows? Maybe you're beautiful and you're like, yes, thank you. But it's an interesting lesson. It's an interesting activity to do, to learn a little bit more about yourself. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, or if you're watching this at the end of the day, I hope you had a fantastic day. I am going to go see why my dog is barking. Have a good day.